What's up, everybody? On this episode, we are going to find out and discover how this man, a busy working CEO of a website design and IT company, lost 60 pounds in 90 days. 60 pounds in 90 days, proving what's possible when you put everything together. So I'm curious to dig in and dive in. My name is Coach Matt O'Brien. I'm a functional health coach, founder of TrYumph Fitness and Nutrition, author of The Magic Pill, and my guest for this episode 3 on this journey, 1-year journey from morbid obesity to fit and fabulous, Matthew Morey, who is the owner, operator, and all things solopreneur of West Shore Web and all the challenges that come with running a business, which I know all about. So how you doing, Matthew?
Doing better than I've done in a long time. Real good.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Did I get that right? Tell us. You started
60,
December 19th?
60 pounds down from 350 pounds late December. So
yeah, December 19th is when you had that game-changing decision.
Yep.
That we talked about in episode 1. And since then, I think you've earned the title. I've been doing this for 25 years. The most successful. You can lose weight non-successfully. I would say you've done it all the right way because you have not lost muscle. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But for the viewers, so there's somebody might be watching this sitting on the couch, sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, doesn't know where to start. All the things that we talked about in episode 1. If you haven't watched that, check it out on YouTube, Fat2Fit Show. And, you know, they just don't want to be that way anymore, but they don't know where to start. What would you say to that person?
You got to find the reason why you want to change. And that starts with getting a blood test and seeing where your health is at. You're gonna question your nutrition. You're gonna question all the different things that you do. You know, how your sleep's doing, all that stuff. But get a baseline, figure out where you're at, and then make the decision to change. Just simply put the work in. Seek out professionals that know what they're talking about, can give you the right advice to get you into to completely changing, and then use every tool they give you. If you are offered a way to be able to get this done more efficiently or more effectively, utilize the tool and stick to it, and do it as long as it takes, because you will get results. It just you can't expect it to be any faster than what I've been able to do. But it's every single tool in the tool belt is going into play. So it's worth it.
Well said. We're both business owners, and you know, we deal with all kinds of challenging struggles, and I always felt like health and weight loss is a lot like that. There's so many different facets of a business. There's so many different facets of physiology, endocrinology, hormones, all the things that can affect, and sleep, like you mentioned, that can affect our weight loss, positive or negative. And I know a lot of people, and I'm going to ask you this, you know, have experienced a lot of frustration, either following a program that didn't work or trying something that didn't work. And then, so they have this fear that, you know, I don't want to fail again. And that fear of failure is what keeps them from trying. And what you said, which I think is the most important point, is get coaching or get help. And that's kind of how this whole process started with you, with Sarah from Hesed Health. And is that a fair thing to say? Like you kind of received your marching orders. You said the other thing I want to point out too, get information, because a lot of people are walking around. I can't tell you, I've been doing this for a long time. I've done thousands of consultations, and I would have people that are clearly morbidly obese, and you fell into that category, which we talked about before. And they say to me, well, my doctor said my labs are good, so I feel like I'm good. And I know it's just a matter of time before that, you know, dam breaks and something bad happens.
And don't go for good either. Go for ideal. You want ideal labs. You want ideal results. You don't want to go with what is expected for your age or expected for your body size or your lifestyle. You want ideal. It's, this is your life you're talking about.
And working with a functional health practitioner, because the labs, unfortunately, that most insurance is going to cover, and most primary care doctors, not to knock any of them, I have many that are my clients, and they would agree that insurance is going to cover like the bare minimum, and those labs don't really tell you anything. Whereas a functional health doctor that you went to, or a practitioner, because Sarah's a nurse practitioner, that she knows what information she needs to see and you need to know as the patient, that is going to predict and tell you more effectively you may have a problem. Do you remember any of the labs that you did in the beginning, or anyone that really stood out to you?
I had a fasting glucose number of 230 or 232, which was obscene. And the A1C came back at 9.0.
Whoa.
It was surprising to me, but I don't think Sarah was as surprised, just because she,
Knew what
I think
to
she
expect.
looked at things with realistic thinking. But it was, we were both surprised that a lot of the things that were on the labs were actually healthy. So at the same time I was jumping into unknown waters, I got great information that, hey, there's certain aspects of my life that are way better than they probably should have been.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's not only just scary stuff to find when you haven't done labs in a long time, but it was 10 years, it was 10 years since I paid attention to my health. And it was simply because of my own choices. I had the ability, I had the insurance, I could have kept up with a primary care doctor, but I thought better. So I needed to change that.
Yeah, I got to say, just for our audience benefit, my wife put on some filter on this software. So that's why I'm a little floaty looking, or whatever the right word is. But Matthew looks amazing. So I think no filters is better. But
got my hair cut today. Had to look good.
You look amazing. Shout out to Brews and who?
Buzz and Brews. Yeah, Dorian, owner of Buzz and Brews, hooked me up today with Kiera, and it was my first time having my taper done, and I really liked it. So
yeah,
big shout out to them.
The taper.
It's my first time.
The taper. Yeah, you got so many things that are going to change, including your wardrobe. So many cool things.
I walked into Walmart this morning simply because I needed to grab a smaller shirt. So I went in, and I've gone from 5X to 4X to 3X to now I'm starting to buy 2X, which is,
it's out. One of the challenges of losing weight is getting a new wardrobe. And tell me, though, I feel like I remember your blood pressure was normal.
Blood pressure was normal. But the last time I had my blood drawn, actually last time I went to Sarah, she did my blood pressure, and blood pressure was down to, I think it was 117 over 70. And she was like, this is optimal. It's even better than what it was when I started, but she was still happy with it when I started.
Yeah. So that is cool, but it was like, this is a cool or a clear indicator of what happens to a lot of people. Their blood pressure reads pretty normal. The doctor does the basic labs and like I said, doesn't tell you much. And the doctor's got to see, X amount of patients in their day, and they don't have a time really to dig in. And that's why it makes sense to work with a functional health practitioner and a functional health coach like myself in tandem. But, I think one thing we really want to tell everybody, don't just trust the labs your primary care doctor's ordering. That's not telling the picture, the story. And fortunately for Matthew, you worked with somebody that knew to look deeper.
And not only look deeper, she looked at the labs and she said, we can attack this with nutrition. You need to change your eating lifestyle. There's a few things you need to take when it comes down to supplementing. Like my vitamin D was incredibly low. She said lower than probably she's seen in the last few years from anybody. Metabolically, that made a big difference, and I had no idea, but the vitamin D has been a big deal. But immediately she said, you need to reach out and you need to find yourself a strength coach. You need to find somebody that can actually train you, get your muscles taking some of the load off of what your body's producing. And so that was one of the first things that she, like, I'm talking like the first appointment that I had with her. She says, you need to find somebody. It wasn't like, let's lose a little weight and then, you can worry, you can think about working out. No, she said, this is all part of the process. So her direction was dead on, and being able to connect with you through Facebook and the easy consultation was super easy. I jumped right in, and I got to tell you, like I made a comment today on some of the happenings about somebody that was looking for a gym. And I can honestly say that when it comes down to making a recommendation, I never understood what group training could really do for me. But I got people that I specifically go to certain workouts because I like who they are. They're all motivating. Everybody's really motivating being out there. The coaches are amazing. So those sessions are they're actually pretty special to me. And then my personal training with you has always been, it really pushes me to see what my body can actually get done. And it's incredible. I would suggest that people that want to get fit, pay attention to your labs, pay attention to your nutrition, but also, no matter what, get yourself somebody that knows what they're talking about when it comes down to, working out and nutrition. Not just somebody who understands working out, not somebody just understands nutrition. Get somebody that actually that they talk the understanding of, where I'm at when I got a glucose monitor, and I can explain to you while I'm working out what's going on and, what I eat and what it's done. I get real-time feedback from a professional. And, it's trained me to even pay attention to, when I'm walking, paying attention to my glucose monitor and seeing where my energy's at. And, it's pretty incredible.
Man, I think what I would love to, your phenomenal results. And again, for those of you watching, this is amazing and clearly a demonstration of when you put all the pieces together, and he's receiving coaching and good instructions from working with his practitioner. And then from there, he came and now working with the nutrition and the exercise side. And what you just said, like some people you may be watching, not in the local area here in, Seminole, Florida, and we're in Tampa Bay area, but I have a chapter in my book. Like I said, I'm the author of The Magic Pill. You can see over my shoulder there on how to find a really good trainer to work with and what questions to ask so that you can really vet them yourself. Because, at the end of the day, I'm happy getting coaching, even if it's bad, is going to be better than not doing anything.
Right.
But, if you're putting in the time, effort, and expense in some cases of doing the exercise side and hiring a coach, you want to get as much bang for that buck as possible. And I live like people over profits is something I say. And I live to work with people like Matthew that who's not your normal character. He does everything.
I'm all in.
And I think I want two things from you today and for our viewers is A, to summarize kind of the process you've been through in kind of like a checklist. And then I think the magic of why you've been so successful is that you really did connect with that why. And Simon Sinek is kind of the one that put this on the world map with his book. It Starts With Why. And from companies like Apple that think differently to us as human beings that want to do something successful, whether it's in business or in health or in even our marriages, if you connect with a deeper emotional why That's going to be that fuel that takes you through the challenges that life's going to throw your way, those decisions that you make every single day that are going to determine the path of success or the path of failure. So that's two things I want to dive into today, and I think that's going to provide a lot of value to our viewers. So number one, why don't you start with the why? And you shared in episode 1, I interrogated you, but just to summarize for those that haven't seen it, what did you connect with that has just really fueled this 60 pounds in 90-day journey?
Yep. I got a wife that I love and a wonderful family, and
more on the way.
More on the way. Another one due in May. It'll be number 6. And it's amazing to think that they depend on me for everything. And here I was, it's almost like taking a car and driving it into the ground because you can't even change the oil on it. I need maintenance. So it was a realization that I may not be as healthy as I should be. I need to go in and I need to take a look and see exactly what I'm doing, and that realization of everything that had to be done. My why was my family. Like it was everybody who's supported me. It's all my customers. Like there's multiple reasons why, I appreciate so many things in life. And here I am in control of myself, either falling off the cliff or I can hang glide. I can take this. So the why is everybody that's depending on me, that has supported me. I owe a debt of gratitude. And if all I have to do is just simply follow the incredible advice from both you and from Sarah when it comes down to, my nutrition, my working out, my metabolic health, it gives me 10 plus years, probably at least back. The years until the end are all going to be better. Every single one of them. So,
and the reason is, less metabolic burden, less, every fat cell, the more full each of our fat cells are, they produce inflammatory cytokines when they're volumized or stretched. That just accelerates your trajectory to bad things happening. Less burden on the body when you lose the weight. But so many people I think are out there that don't take the time to connect with the why. And I think, and you were kind of in that denial of, I'm okay, I'm healthy, I'm still moving, I'm still functional. Because it's like boiling a frog. You put a frog in water and turn on the heat slowly. They won't jump out. And it's just
like you said, I was strong. I had a lot of muscle. And it's because I've been carrying around and acting like I wasn't 350 pounds. And I didn't live life like I was 350 pounds. I lived life like I was 180 pounds. And, I didn't let things slow me down. Unfortunately, the body and the organs didn't agree with that. So it was definitely time to decide that, I'm going to take control of this. And, the why, when I got a diagnosis of diabetes, it was a shock to me because, I lived my life in the understanding that, I'm healthy, I'm fine. But understanding
that's probably what you were told by your doctors.
Yeah, I'm killing my organs. There's so much damage being done, and I had no idea how long that damage was being done for. So, I'm given the option to go ahead and just immediately change my nutrition, get working out, pay attention to what's going on, and I could actually reverse this. That's another thing that people, may not understand, that, it is reversible. It's a lifestyle change, but the damage, I went from a 9 A1C to a 5.9 in the first 2 months. So I almost decreased the amount of sugar in my blood almost by half in a matter of 2 months by simply choosing not to eat sugar. And working out and burning the ability for my body as it's producing too much glucose, and my insulin response was terrible. The workouts allowed me to be able to take that glucose in my body and do something with it instead of storing it, instead of it just, getting into my blood and sitting there and just ruining my metabolic health. So
Yeah.
that was
You
a
summed
big
it up.
deal.
That is metabolic health, is your body to partition fuels and use them. And what happens to a lot of people, what metabolic dysfunction is starts with insulin resistance, but essentially a good analogy is like your engine that could normally burn fats for fuel and glucose for fuel and ATP becomes dependent on just the glucose, and it forgets how to burn fat. And that's where you get this stubborn fat that feels like it's hard to lose. And people go on these, crash diets for 2 weeks. They lose a few pounds, but they never stay with it long enough to create that metabolic shift that you've been through. And when you do that to the extreme that you've done, you had a radical shift of that A1C number, which is a percentage of blood sugar. It's like 9% down to 5.9%. You said
5.9, yeah. And according to my glucose monitor, it looks like I'm probably closer to a 5.3 by now with my 90-day average. So
that's phenomenal. Quick teaser. We're going to get into like you summarizing what you've done to accomplish this feat of awesome metabolic functional health. But we're going to also dive into, if you don't mind sharing, what you did to get insurance to approve Mounjaro. I think a lot of people, because I've had many, many clients with high A1Cs get denied, even when their doctors try to get creative. So I want you to tell the viewers that process. But first, I want you to dive into why, or this, like if you had to sum up into steps, what you've done to lose 60 pounds in 90 days, which still blows me away. I have trouble saying it because I've never said it. But it's a good thing. And for everybody's benefit, this wasn't a crash diet. We've been tracking his muscle, his metabolic
200 grams of protein a day. Doesn't feel like a diet.
Training. So kind of summarize for everybody, like if they had to put it into a blueprint or a framework, like what do I need to do to even get half those results, which would still be phenomenal. But to encourage everybody, even half those results, which are possible, would be fantastic. So step one.
Step one is change the eating habits completely. One of the first things
hard for people. Most people have food addiction. Would you say
I'm all in or I'm all out?
What if somebody's not all in?
It's an easy switch for me. The nutrition plan that Sarah put me on was immediate. She wanted me to go ahead and limit my eating window down to between noon and 8 p.m.
So that's time restricted feeding. That's an easy solution. Like eating
16-8 plates. And then I had to get in. She started me at 150 grams of protein a day. Less than 50 carbs a day is what she suggested. And she said, if you can do it, you can do 30 grams of carbs a day. That'd be even better for you. And
so what does that look like on your plate in the real world?
Usually my meals consist of some kind of a lean or leaner steak, red meat product, flank steak, sirloin. Sometimes I'll cut a lot of the fat off.
Doesn't steak cause heart attacks?
When you mix it with sugar, it does. When you mix it with all the other stuff that you're eating.
Yeah, that's a myth that's out there, unfortunately. Just like eggs cause cholesterol to be elevated. There's a lot of information that can be confusing to people. But like Matthew, you said, it's not, saturated fats that come with some protein choices that cause heart attacks. It's when you combine them with the recipe of refined, simple sugars and carbohydrates, and not just sugar
and processed foods. Nothing
flour,
processed.
Crackers, all these things. Even if they're marketed as whole grain health foods, you put those blood sugar elevating refined carbohydrates with a saturated fat. Now you're storing fat in your body, your blood, and everywhere else. Yeah. And your triglycerides. What are your triglycerides now? Aren't they?
I don't remember what the number was, but she was
like 60, wasn't it?
She was pleasantly surprised that they weren't bad.
It was like close to mine. I want to say it was 60 when you showed me your recent blood work.
It's
and that was a radical shift. So your blood sugar numbers have gone way down, your A1C's gone way down, your blood pressure's gone down, and your triglycerides have gone way down. So, and if I don't know if she did uric acid, that's another test for metabolic function. So all these evidence shows that whatever you're doing is working. And then on my side, with your muscle body composition, you're retaining your muscle mass, which is your metabolic engine. And I use the analogy in my book, like our muscle is like the size of the engine. Like for fuel economy and when gas prices are insane, you don't want a V8 engine. But when it comes to burning calories, you want the biggest engine possible so it burns more calories. And now once you get to whatever endpoint you get to, maintaining that muscle, and you still have this big engine, you're not going to have to starve yourself to maintain that body weight. You're going to still be eating a decent amount of calories. And so step one was changing your nutrition, and you went all in on that. What would you say step two was?
She also did she wanted me to start some kind of a weight loss medication to help me jumpstart the process. And we chose tirzepatide at the time.
Okay.
The tirzepatide, along with the carnivore diet, really works better than I could have ever imagined, where there's not any hunger pains. There's never I have to make sure that I eat my meals, in order to get all my protein in. The hunger's just not there.
So it takes kind of that willpower struggle that a lot of people have.
Yep.
So for you, it was very effective.
I don't think about when I'm going to eat, what I'm going to eat. If the wife asks, where do you want to go for dinner? I don't have an option because I don't have an opinion. There's just no thought process.
You're able to decide based on fueling
nutrition.
Your body versus what you're craving, so it kind of takes those craving problems and hunger pains off the table.
All the way down to when you're looking at the menu and you're trying to decide what you're going to eat. It's almost like being in the grocery store and walking by the cookie aisle and just being like, I didn't even think I wanted any cookies, so it's made a big difference there. Along with the tirzepatide that I've been doing, it was a compounded version, B12 shots for the energy to go along with it. And I'm doing fiber. So I'm doing psyllium husk capsules twice a day in smaller amounts. And
that feeds our good bacteria.
Yep, a tri-blend magnesium to keep my system running. The vitamin D, 10,000 units a day of the vitamin D continued until
D3.
Yep, D3K2. Yep,
and any hormone therapy?
Yes, testosterone. I'm doing every 2 weeks.
And just to point on that real quick, because a lot of, I think it's less stigmatized than it used to be, with men in their 20s now being diagnosed with clinically low levels of testosterone. I think that's what's crazy is, we're both men of faith. And this is the only irony of God's perfect design was like, the more fat you have, the lower your testosterone physiologically. So as you gain fat, your testosterone goes down.
I was at about 212.
212, which is
212 when I was 350 pounds. So it needed optimal is anywhere between 800 and 1200 for my age, and and that's where she wants me to be.
And she's monitoring that and got you there.
Yep, keeping an eye on the red blood cell count, making sure that it's not thickening up the blood, and but keeping an eye on that.
I went to a Male Health Summit in Phoenix in November, and this was experts from all over the country, specifically dealing with hormone opposition in males, and they kind of dispelled the myth of that. There's no real scientific evidence now to support having to do phlebotomy, that thick blood has actually rarely ever caused problems. So it's kind of more of a precaution than a necessity based on the most current science. But, 5 years ago, it was pretty much universal. If you were doing TRT, you were doing blood donation to prevent that.
Pretty much the only thing that I was told, that's the only thing that you want to look for is possibly the red blood cell count. Other than that, the benefits of being able to, have the energy, be able to, the muscle, the ability to put on muscle, the sleep is way better.
Brain fog.
Yep.
And decision making, recovery from exercise, assuming you're doing that.
Yep.
Just all things. And that helps as you build or actually use your muscle, that helps accelerate the fat loss process and the metabolic function. And that's why if you didn't do my side of this formula, your results, you would have still been good, I'm convinced, but not this good. And,
no, not this good.
So step 2 was all the support.
All the tools.
Step 3, this is where I think you came and talked to me.
Step 3, getting the working out and getting the the oxygen in my body.
Exercise piece.
Yeah. Getting the muscles to do what they're supposed to do, build them up.
What did I tell you? The advantage, one of the few positives of having 350 pounds is you're walking around with the gym on your body. So just moving and walking 10 minutes is like me doing an hour workout because that's a lot of work. And I think people that are struggling don't realize that you just going for a walk in 10 minutes, that's a celebration because you just did a phenomenal workout.
I got a 130-pound ruck pack on
all the time.
Yep.
I put on a 40-pound weight vest for 30-minute workout and it kicks my ass. And I like to think I'm in shape and I have, 193 pounds of muscle. No, that's how much I weigh. I have 100 pounds of muscle, or 99 of that is muscle. And it just having that extra weight is such a burden. And that's why I hope I was celebrating your efforts, because I always just would think like, man, this guy is working so hard, not only doing what I'm telling him to do, but he's carrying around that 134-pound rucksack all the time. So that was step 3, the exercise piece. And any other big steps that you would like to share with our viewers?
Well, being able to get, I guess the whole reason why I was able to get the insurance to cover the Mounjaro.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I would say as a last thing, just you got the labs and Dr. Sarah working on that.
Yep.
And then on our side, we were doing the InBody, and you did the CGM. So you were using a lot of data as a business owner. We love data. And
I'm analytics. I'm analytics.
So you're tracking sleep, your blood sugar with the CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitor. We were using the InBody 570, which is a $10,000 body composition analyzer. Your doctor was doing labs and monitoring those and making sure what you were doing was working. And you're getting all these feedback loops of information. And I assume that kept you motivated to some degree.
100%. Yeah. Everything working together has made it feel like I'm making progress way quicker than I should. And that's motivating in itself. Just recently, probably within the last 2 weeks, I've had so many people tell me that they're noticing how much of a change is going on. They can tell the energy's there. They can tell the body's getting smaller. They can tell I'm standing up straight. I've got more energy, everything, it's pretty incredible.
And you're probably going to start shortly, your wardrobe selection will probably change a little bit because you're maybe not as subconscious about what you're wearing and disguising.
I'm still buying more black t-shirts just because I've been wearing black t-shirts for the last few years.
Color.
Yep, they're getting smaller and smaller, and even I like the way they look on me. So I have gone through my closet, and I've actually missed clothes that I could have worn, but I've actually lost more size to my body. But so now they don't even really fit because I've actually gone through that size, and I could have worn them for a few weeks, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with the short size. I started with a size 54 waist shorts that I was on, and I'm down to 44s. So 10 inches
which is
insane.
I know. Yeah, so I just think this is so inspirational for people, because getting into momentum, but I emphasize this on previous episodes, get help. It's hard to do it on your own. It takes a village, whether it's raising kids or growing a business. It takes a lot of help and support, and then the right process that produces results, and those results start feeding your motivation and creating that momentum. But we tease them with, like I said, a lot of my clients have gotten denied. And just like in sales, like you get that first no, or you make cold calls and they say no, and you're afraid to make the next call. What was the process? Because a lot of people, for people that don't know, it was possible to get tirzepatide through compounding pharmacies, but that was because of the reality that demand exceeded the supply from the patented manufacturer, which is Eli Lilly in tirzepatide's case, Novo Nordisk in semaglutide's case, which I think is still on shortage. But now they're meeting demand, so that means the compounding pharmacies can't make that anymore. So you had to get it through insurance, and I'll set it up by saying that, which has happened to a lot of my clients, that it got denied by insurance. And that's where my clients and their doctors kind of give up as an option. What did you do? Because you sent me a picture. You texted me a picture with a 90-day supply of these Mounjaro from the prescription. And what did you pay for those?
90-day supply was $37.50 with my insurance.
All in?
All in.
All right. So how did you do that?
So I give a lot of the credit to the fact that I had been going to Sarah, and Sarah has coached me when it comes down to understanding the insurance side of the medical world. And, the reason why she does what she does is because she doesn't always agree with the way that the insurance denies things that obviously are completely healthy for the patient. And understanding that I went from a diabetic diagnosis, and I have a primary doctor that I have to go to in order to be able to get medications approved through my insurance. She gave me the understanding that now that I am a controlled diabetic, because I am now in the 5.9 range with my blood labs, I am more valuable to my primary doctor's practice because I am a controlled diabetic. And because I had the weight loss that I had and the success that I had on tirzepatide, even though it was a compounded medication, the very first time that we tried to get it approved through my primary doctor, my insurance company denied it, and they made a suggestion for other medication to try first.
Was it Trulicity or Metformin?
Trulicity was it? Yeah, they wanted to to try Trulicity. They wanted metformin. They wanted to go the route
zero cost medications, basically.
That doesn't work for so many people. So when I went back there, another thing is the nurse that I have at that primary care doctor, she's also diabetic. And she was blown away with, when I brought in my labs, I didn't just, have them look at the labs digitally. I printed them out because Sarah said, print your labs out, put them in a folder, bring that folder to them, let them make copies, because they need to have that information where it's not just during that 10 minutes that you get to see them. They're going to need that paperwork when it comes down to fighting for your prescription advocacy. So I brought all those over, and I explained to them that I've been on tirzepatide now, and it's working. It's working wonderfully. You can see in my numbers. I'd like to go ahead and appeal that first denial. And, I'm going to, I contacted the insurance company. I left messages with them when it comes down to their online app, just letting them know that, my health is really changing. I'm really excited about the possibility of being approved for this. And they came back and they denied it again. This all started early February, the process. And
So now you've been denied twice.
Yep, denied twice. And
you said okay with that, or you said no with that?
At my next appointment that I had with my primary care, I sat down with her and she basically said, we're going to try something a little bit different. They had a rep that had come in with paperwork that basically stated that the medication that I'm on is working well for me. And the doctor is personally advocating for me to stay on the same medication that I'm on. And because of the type 2 diabetes, they were able to say, let's go ahead and push for Mounjaro one more time. And it came back and they denied it again. So most people would have stopped after the first or second. The third time it was like, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and do this one more time. Is there anything else I can do? So what I did is I called in myself. I talked to I called the insurance company. I talked to the concierge pharmacy rep that they gave me access to. And the conversation that I had said, is there anything else that I can possibly do to make sure that this is an option that I still have on the table? And they said, let's go ahead and we're going to do a pre-authorization form with you instead of just the doctor. And then once yours is put in, we're going to go ahead and we're going to resend out paperwork to your doctor. And so as soon as they did that, I called my doctor's office and left notes with them that they're going to be sending over another piece of paperwork. And I really need them to discuss my results.
Okay.
The results of the weight loss and the A1C drop was probably the reason that they went ahead and they approved it. But I got a call back from the nurse and she said, well, they're denying the 36-hour appeal process and they will let you know by the 28th of March. And that was like a 3-week window, so about the 25th or 26th, I got a message back from my insurance app that basically said, we have reversed our denial. You are approved for 12 months at a 5 milligram dose, which is what I was on. And, they basically said that, they're going to go ahead and move forward with it. So, the following day I got to pick up the medication. And even though we started this back in early February, I'm at a point where I could move up to a higher dose. So chances are what I'm going to need to do right now is since I have 3 months worth of medication that's at the 5 milligram dose, I'm probably going to need to supplement that with a 2.5 additional shot for the next 3 months. Okay. But I did contact my insurance company yesterday, and I got an answer back today that in order to be able to be approved for the higher dose, I just need to get with my doctor. They need to put it in for submission, and then at that point, they will go through the appeals process again. Worst case scenario, they stay me at 5.
Okay.
And I can deal with that. I think it's still effective at 5.
Especially with all the things you're doing.
Correct.
Nutrition, the lifestyle, the sleep,
the working out, and the carnivore type diet makes the hunger completely go away. The fasting, I've done the 16-8 fast. I've also done an 18-6 fast. So it all depends on,
And both of us have fasted the entire day, not by choice, but
and by choice. There's I did a 72 hour. I did a 72 hour fast.
Metabolically healthy.
And 2 of those days I worked out on, and it felt
that
great.
Wasn't in the beginning. That was along the journey.
No, that's just recent. So
that's the cool part about gaining control over the nutritional side and our willpower. But I think what you just laid out is a framework. Yes, it required some persistence and some legwork on your part and some effort, but knowing that the out-of-pocket costs is
Big
$900 a
difference.
month.
Big difference.
You just think of that. If you think about that times 12, what is that? Call it
The
10
the
grand.
insurance the insurance company showed that my plan I paid $3,750 and the plan paid $3,900 for that 90-day supply.
So multiply that times 4.
That's 12 grand or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that effort, you're like, man, this is a pain in the ass. It's not worth it. You just paid yourself 12 grand.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
It's just reframing how we think about things. But I know Matthew's got an amazing dinner with some friends and his wife tonight, and appreciate the time. But we just laid out a strategy to get your insurance to pay for tirzepatide, brand name Mounjaro. So that was valuable. I think you laid out a 4-step process for how to get really effective results. And then you shared with the most important thing is really connecting with that emotional why. And when you put all the pieces together, like magic.
Fight for yourself. Be your own best advocate and do the work.
Yeah. So enjoy the time with your family tonight.
Appreciate it.
We're really looking forward to the next episode as we document this journey. Do you have my last question that I want to sign off with in my notes here is, so you broke 300, which was a crazy goal when you're 350 and beyond. Where are you looking at now? Have you started thinking about what's the next milestone you want to shoot for?
Well, me and Dave got a contest at 250, so I'm hitting that. I'm going to hit that 250 mark. So I can.
You might have intimidated him. He asked me today, "How's Matthew doing?" And for everybody's benefit, I kind of challenged both of them. Started kind of at the same point, and I said the first one to get to 250 gets Ruth Chris dinner on me. And I didn't say, or I may not have said that's going to be with me because I like
that's great.
Yep. But and I told him, like, you broke the 300 barrier already. And he's like, I could see his shoulders slump a little bit. You got to get to work. But yeah, he's an example of like his doctor. I'm going to tell him, watch this episode and he can hopefully educate his doctor to do what you did. Because he's got the labs like you to make the same argument.
Seek out somebody like Sarah. And even though you've got insurance, when you have an advocate that they're not there because of the insurance, they're not there for anything other than you. They have that background knowledge of how the medical system works. She was completely surprised that they covered it. But at the same time, she gave me what I needed to be able to have some confidence and go into it and expect them to cover it. Go in there and, okay, they didn't do it the first 2 times. They didn't do it the third time. They'll do it the next time. I went in there with that feeling because I felt like I had the experience of understanding. So seek somebody out. And if I wasn't already on a compounded version that had worked so well, they would have never done it. So, I'm blessed in the fact that if there's a way that you can get started on a medication and show results, that might be a way to be able to get them to actually cover it, if they won't start you off on it, so it's.
And I'm pretty sure you can still get compounded semaglutide.
Yep.
But for those of you that are in the local area, we keep talking about Sarah from Hesed Health. Reach out to her, let her know Matthew and Coach Matt from TrYumph sent you. She's phenomenal. I referred her lots of clients of my clients, and they've all had phenomenal things to say. She cares. She's genuine. And even when it's not her business, she's helping you coach another doctor how to do this.
She is kindness in medicine personified.
She's passionate like myself. We're about, the people impact is what drives both of us. And thank you so much for your time. And so we're on our way to 250 next. You broke the 300 goal. You crushed it. And 250's up next. That means a whole nother war.
40 pounds. It doesn't seem like that much now.
Clothes yet.
40 pounds. I got 40 pounds to go.
Yeah. So a couple T-shirts on the way in that transition. And then, once you get under 250, you might think about some wardrobe choices. But Great
I'm
job.
gonna start seeing some muscles. I'm gonna start seeing muscles on my body. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow in
I'll be there
house that TrYumph built, and we'll have some fun. And thank you.
I love my Saturdays. My Saturday workouts are my favorite.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about the exercise piece of what we do at TrYumph that's so different on the next episode. And thank you, everybody, for watching in. If you like this episode, I think somebody could benefit from it. Please share it with them. You're paying it forward. It's the ripple effect. You could change somebody's life. We have confidence that Matthew and his family get to see him for a long time, longer, and that's what it's all about. That's what functional health is all about. So take care. Thanks for tuning in. Matthew, thank you. Enjoy your dinner.
Thanks, Matt.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Appreciate it. I'll be in the morning.
God bless. The why in TrYumph is you.